Hey everyone, it's Irene Lyon here, and welcome to this entire world of nervous system health and healing. I'm wondering, did you ever see the video meme that my team and I put out? It would have been in about September 2023, where we took this video that was kind of going viral in other areas of two golfers on a green, probably in Florida, and one comes up to this reptile. I apologize, I'm not sure if it's an alligator or a crocodile. It's a reptile. And one of them doesn't see it and they get startled. And then another one just kind of moseys up, taps it on the tail, and it goes into the water. So we put a spin on this as a metaphor that basically said the first guy who is startled, that's basically a nervous system that is dysregulated. Whereas the second guy who just kind of moseys up, taps, there's someone who has regulation. And so I want to explain that video because some people took it literally. However, there's an interesting literal representation that I'll dive into in a second. So the first thing is the metaphor is when we have got regulation, capacity, nervous system resilience. Not going to get into what all those things mean right now because I have many other videos that talk about what somatic capacity is, what nervous system regulation resilience is. So just for the sake of this short video, let's just say you understand that nervous system regulation means that you are connected to self, to the environment. Yes, you get stressed and things might activate you, but you come down very easily, really simply. You can sense big emotions, you can ride the tsunami waves of intensity, but you come out of it. So in this case, the gentleman who got startled by this monster, because we had a song in there that she's talking about the monster and befriending the monster. That startle is the system that is feeling something intense, something not right, whether it's a tightness in the throat, a rumbling in the belly, a sensation that doesn't feel good, a tightening of something. That is that person coming into contact with that sensation, feeling, memory, and they're freaking out. It's like, I don't want to see it. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to get rid of it or get it away from me. Basically, that is dysregulation. That is the system not knowing how to confront this monster. And it's kind of a perfect metaphor because that's our reptilian brain talking. It is the fear part of us that's like danger, 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 protect, freeze, or attack, right? So the second guy who just walks on up, he sees the monster, he sees the reptile, he sees the fear response. Again, this is metaphor, or he senses it, or that memory comes up. But when we're regulated, when we have capacity, somatic capacity, we have accurate interoception of what's going on, and we're practiced, we're more masterful, we see that big monster, we see that big fear response reptile living in us, and we're just like, oh, I know this. I'm good. We can feel it. We can process it. Maybe we need to move. Maybe we need to do this resource, whatever it might be, all the things my students learn within our courses. And so it's just no big deal. So that's the metaphor. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. We'll put that aside. Now, the interesting thing about this video, and if we can't put the video in here in little clips, be sure to just go watch this afterwards. When you watch the first guy, he is literally walking towards the reptile. And the reason he's startled, I believe, even though he's kind of looking right at it, he's not orienting actively to his environment. And so he gets to the distance where it's finally in his visual field, like right in front, and he startles. And he takes his golf club and he puts it into defense mode. He goes into active fight, even though, of course, the reptile is just sitting there. And that makes sense, right? He didn't see it. He wasn't orienting. He has a massive defensive orienting startle response. I've talked about orienting and these defensive versus exploratory orienting responses in other videos. We'll link that here if you want a breakdown, a rundown, a crash course on the orienting response. Super important when it comes to regulating the nervous system. So back to this guy. So he's literally not seeing. Maybe he's thinking about something, maybe he's singing a tune, but he's disconnected with his surroundings. Maybe, to be fair, he is from a spot in the world where you're not going to see a reptile on a golf course. I am someone who grew up in British Columbia. When you're out in the trails, you need to be prepared for bears, for mountain lions, for things that could potentially harm you. In my opinion, we don't want to be wearing earbuds and listening to a podcast when we're in the woods. We need to hear the rustle of the branches. We need to hear if something is coming close to us. If we hear the sound of an animal make a sound, that alerts us, ooh, something's over there. I shouldn't go over there, or I'm just going to be really careful. It's when we are startled or when we surprise an animal, that is typically when they get a little unfriendly or when they might attack. Or of course, if we provoke them, that isn't good either. And we shouldn't be provoking any kind of animal at all. And so in the literal sense, that is why that big startle response. It's because, in my opinion, in my professional viewing of that, he just wasn't aware of his environment and maybe wasn't expecting it. Whereas the other guy, my sense, because I've certainly never touched a reptile like that. I've held snakes and iguanas and that kind of thing. But sense is the way he casually walked up, hand in his pocket, he had no golf clubs. He just tapped it and he knew, and these things don't want to harm us. They want to be left alone. As soon as it felt that little tap into the water, just like if you touch a slug or a snail, what do? Right? They suck their head in. Turtle sucks their head in. If you see a little gardener snake, the moment they feel movement, they're out, they're gone, right? And it's actually the same is true with many mammals. You see bears in the wild. If you're not provoking them, they're not protecting their cubs, and you demonstrate you're no threat, they'll just go back into the trail or into the woods, and they'll run away. So I wanted to talk about that video meme because most got the metaphor, and some thought that was crazy, and that if you were regulated, of course you would have a startle response. And true, startle responses are important. But in that, if we really pick it apart, he wasn't paying attention to his environment. He wasn't orienting. He wasn't seeing what was around him. And that led to him being startled and having a stress response of that caliber. So again, if you haven't watched this little video meme, be sure to, like I said, we'll link it near here. It's on my YouTube channel under the shorts. It is on Instagram. And I hope this has given you a little understanding into why we do want to learn nervous system regulations for the internal monsters, but also so that the outside world and the many threats that do abound, we are aware of them, we see them. We don't get startled by them, and we can take care of ourselves and stay safe and let the animals also live their life and not have to worry about us either. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and we will see you next time.